Hey Fred, we're here for number 2 video and found 2 interesting studies here about bone mass density in relationship to the vegetarian diet. And the first one was by someone you actually know, Luigi Fontana, done in 2005, that expressed his conclusions of a raw food vegetarian diet is associated with low body mass at clinically important skeletal regions, but is without evidence of increased bone turnover or impaired vitamin D synthesis. Now that doesn't sound too flattering for the raw food vegetarian lifestyle. I want you to go into a little bit more depth on it, but the second article that you can find underneath this video on the blog and on YouTube is associated with a study that was done over in the Far East using the Bayesian analysis. That basically their conclusions, and I want people to look at the article, that's why we put them up there, so you can see what's Fred experienced in relationship to how he's talking about the healthy journey, his intermediate level approach, which is 70-30, as well as the 100%, which he doesn't say people should go that route completely, but the 70-30 is where it's at. But in general, these people from the Far East, their conclusion was the results suggested that vegetarian diets, particularly vegan diets, are associated with low BMD, bone mass density, but the magnitude of this association is clinically insignificant. So please respond, Fred.
Okay, thanks, Rory. Well, the Bayesian method is the most accurate method of measuring bone density. And what that study is showing that the people that they used when they measured it with the Bayesian method was that they were in the lower normal range. But that doesn't always mean what people think it means. If a person is thin, see, when you correlate this, if you take a person, a lot of people that are my age, 80 years old, and they're very thin, and they're not absorbing food, and their bones are very small, their bones are getting brittle. But if you take somebody that's eating a raw diet and is eating correctly, or a diet that's 70-30 or 80-20, or 100% raw being done correctly, I want people to understand I'm in favor of a raw food diet for people that can do it and can do it long term. And you can have tremendous success. You can live, I believe you can live 100 or beyond. I don't want to make any ridiculous statements, but there got to be a reason why people are not living nowhere near that, and exaggerating certain things, their age and all kinds of other things to justify what they're doing. But what happens when they measure these people with the Bayesian method here, they're in the lower normal range, and don't forget the size of your bones is factored into this equation. So you could have smaller bones, and if you're not doing it correctly, you can come up as having bone density. Meanwhile, your bones could be like a steel rod because they're straightening as they contract and being solidified. So you got to be very, very careful when you look at these studies. There's many, many variables that can't be factored into these different types of studies. And we always want to err on the side of caution. Now, I have seen many people, 25,000, 30,000 people, and I go by the bottom line. Bottom line. And the good thing about it is I see the people that are having trouble. Most of the people that are doing well, they don't call me. So I see what's going wrong. I see people call me up that have been doing it reasonably a long time. And I also see people that they say they're doing it, and then when they confide with me they're not doing it, I factor that into the equation. I don't judge anybody. I just try to solve the problem. So there's a lot of things that we have to be aware of. That's my intentions here with what we're doing. We want to get the facts out there. To what my observations have been. Plus the studies, the people that are actually doing scientific studies that I trust what they're doing, and they don't have an agenda, or they're not talking, in some abstract scientific form, or they're not talking about anecdotal information. I'm not really interested in some guy that climbed to the top of a mountain, yodeled and barked at the moon and got better from some incurable disease, and people have all these stories. Well, that's all well and good, but I don't want to go by anecdotal information. I don't even go by my own personal experience that much, because I don't think most people want to walk the road that I walked. I took some tremendous chances to find out the truth. I did a lot of long-term fasting over 40 days. I did an eight-year experiment that I wouldn't want to see anybody do, because you could really get into trouble. And I didn't eat any cooked food when I was doing it. Somebody implied I might have been eating cooked food, and it's not the case at all. The experiment is it was a very radical thing. I'm not going to, maybe later on, some years down the road, you know, God willing, I'm still here, I might get into it, but it's something that's particularly dangerous, but it's tremendously profound in giving people the ability to help themselves when they got serious disease. I know how you can do certain things that are almost sound like they're impossible, but the only thing, they're very, very dangerous unless you do them exactly the way they have to be done, so I'm not even going there. But you got to make sure that you're eating a variety of different foods, and I found out that most of the people that are running these kinds of problems were the people that thought they were going to be fruitarians, eating 100% raw, eating a tremendous amount of fruits, and they get through the early stages, but when you get into 5, 10, and 15 years, that's where all the disasters take place. And I've seen it amongst my friends. I had personal friends that did this and did not survive. So I'm just saying, be careful. We're trying to provide as much information as we possibly can that's authentic. We don't have an agenda. We're not on anybody's side. We're not trying to rationalize and justify any different kind of a concept. In fact, I can't stand some of the nonsense that's going on with people, all this. It reminds me of what's going on in politics in this country. I mean, it's kind of, we got to focus on the truth here. And anybody that has any information to help us with these studies, we'd be very, very happy. You know, what I really would like to do someday is go on the road and bring a polygraph machine with me and get on the polygraph machine and let somebody ask me questions. Then I'd like to put some of these other people on the polygraph machine and let's get to the core of the truth of what's going on here.
Yeah, Fred, I like that one, definitely. Also, yes, if anybody does have any feedback, please don't forget you can always email us back. Any questions or anything like that, or articles you would like to review. We're always open to the process. We're always open to learn more. Fred's 80 years old. He's always learning, always reading. Thanks a lot, and don't forget to check us out on www.fredbishy4health.com and check out our new natural health plan where you can take a little profile of yourself and I'll give you a call back and we can talk about it. Thanks and have a good day.